Part 3 of daily number 709. 700 and 700 and... I'm going to get this right one day. 719, where we learn to be a better gamer. Let's recap what we've learned. The strong point for Terran lives somewhere in the realm of 10 to 16 minutes. Terran's looking for that opportunity to batter down a Protoss who is often trying to transition to his next juicy part of gameplay. Maybe a Colossus player trying to get High Templar for Storm, or even as simple as Colossus going into Charge or Blink or what have you. Hell, even Colossus into more damn gateways. Some transitionary step. Most of the time, the way that Protosses achieve this is by halting gateway production and plopping down their next step. The big mid-game pressure from Maru hopes to crush or cripple Protoss during that phase. Ha! What we've seen so far in this part 1 and 2 is the lead-up steps that Maru does, doing this little push to waste a photon overcharge, getting the +1 upgrade so he can be 1-1 at exactly 12 minutes. Getting add-ons to his barracks quite early, but not for early pressure to have a big mid-game army. Ooh! Let's see it struggle in this game. We saw one way in which it could go wrong on Frost, which I think is a very hard and tricky map for a Terran player because of Protosses who just sit there, play passive, chill, relax, and etc. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Alright, we got Maru. He's going to do his usual things. He's going to get himself barracks and expand soon. This will be a rather swift game. We're going to see a Blink all-in as the opening for Protoss. Rearrange these a little bit. And I think that you'll intuitively note that Maru's opening should be able to deal with that, right? The answer is yeah. Yeah, spot on. Spot frickin' on. That's one of those builds that you really have to consider first. Can it hold one of the most common openings? Can it now? Nice little yawn. I think I want to go to bed early tonight and get to work early tomorrow morning and do things and be a productive human. Maru checking for third, kind of. Third wouldn't possibly have been down by then, but he did die. Maru gets concussive shell, concussive shell, concussive shell, and now he'll get an engineering bay here in the morning. There it is. So as these add-ons go down, this push goes out. Push goes out. If push goes out, that's right, waiting for concussive shell, boom! And the Marauder doth leadeth. Now we're going to note a little bit of a close call here. We're seeing the Stalkers move out. One of the nice benefits of this push from Maru is that he can spot these kinds of plays, and he just barely doesn't... that would have been a free Stalker. One of the glorious benefits of this build is that it can just straight kill off a Stalker or two for free. And look at this. Tons of units for Maru. Maru. Maru is on fire. Hip hip, Maru! Now here's something very sneaky that Classic does. As Classic is going for the Colossus follow-up, he also gets a Warp Prism, which winds up being his saving grace. Now there's 13 Stalkers in here, and Maru just walks right up and roasts this like real bad. I definitely think Maru did not need to pull SCVs in this spot. I think that he would have been in fine condition. But either way, 39 to 44, not a tremendous disparity. This is a teensy bit late. This is the thing that I think makes Classic so good, is this little drop. This little doohickey in the back, I think is almost defendable. Maru just gets a little bit distracted in a couple of spots, a little bit distracted. Takes a little bit more damage than he needs to, but still does a pretty good job. This, again, is very late. And I think that this can't be understated, that the point of this build is to deal lots of damage in the early and mid-game. And if these upgrades are like... How late is this? This isn't actually as late as I thought. Okay. This really should be wrapping up at around 12 minutes. I want to make sure that, like, as your army gets to his half of the base, this isn't the follow-up upgrade being late, this is the first upgrade being late. Normally it's like 5:30, 5:45 when Maru builds this. He built it late at like 6:15, 6:30. So cool. Maru does the intuitive play. He says, well, if you're going for big stalker play, you are either going for a Templar transition, which is going to be very easy to deal with Widow Mines, or you're going for Colossus. Either way, you don't have a lot of either, so I will apply pressure. This teensy little Warp Prism play does just way more damage than it should. We also see why Maru rallies into his main base. And I think that Maru in this spot is again... Oops, I should have been showing this. That's right. This is when the way too much damage happens. I think that Maru should be in fine shape in this spot. I mean, he's starting to slowly pull ahead in supply. It's past 12 minutes. Yeah, I mean, this push would be so much stronger with +1. I mean... The Zealots are going to deal 2 less damage each. The Stalkers, obviously, 1 less damage. But as the big push happens... So many kills. And I'll highlight that there's really no one big moment that's causing the game to end. But this is getting super slowed down. And the number of SCVs that have been killed off in the main are way higher than you'd like. 18, ugh. I think this is one of the more one-sided games in the series where Maru is doing the try-as-you-might play. Gets the double engineering base down, they don't do anything for a little while. This is up, doesn't transition for a little while. This is like the death by 1,000 cuts. And there is some nifty micro going on in the main base. The supply counts are kind of even, but... Okay, there's one. Okay. So the lesson that I might note from this one is that those early game slip-ups have real consequences. Getting behind in that upgrade is really bad for the mid-game pressure because you don't have +1. But also, even though this is a mid-game focused style of play, especially like getting these 2 barracks before this command center, even though it's a mid-game style of play, late-game slip-ups can still be very, very costly. There's also a very, very late Ghost Academy. We saw that already done by now in the other game, and it doesn't exist yet for Maru. Death by 1,000 cuts. Also, this map is particularly poopy for anti-war prism play. So I think the combination of these 4 games shows how incredibly strong mid-game focused stuffs are. How incredibly easy some of those wins will look and feel. How in Game 3 that we watched, that Maru could stay alive and get to the late game and be in perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable shape. However, as we're seeing in this game, if you do those early slip-ups and combine them with follow-up slip-ups, no ghosts in these armies. with plenty of time to have gotten ghosts, all those will add up. You really kind of need all the tools available to fight Protoss in the late game. And this is a map that I think would have been fantastic for Maru had it gone on late, because a 4th base is just so damn hard to hold. This is like perhaps the most reasonable 4th base for a Protoss player to hold. I think Maru could have done some good work. So we saw 2 games that were wins, 2 games that were losses, and now we're going to take 2 questions. Okay, well, fine, we'll make it 3. I'm tired. I'm tired. I got this really good sandwich from a place called the Ace of Sandwiches. Isn't that a great name? Oh. Man Bonds, is Dan on? Are you ever not tired? Actually, yes. Most of the time I'm not tired. But I never talk about it when I'm not tired. I just behave like a normal person. And when I'm tired, I behave pretty much like my normal self, except it's exhausting. Oh, happy Canada Day. Cerebral09, great question. Why does the hit squad consistently only have a single Marauder and you hit the nail on the head? It is for the benefit of the concussive shell. Zyada Slaya says day 9 +1 attacker, +1 armor first, +1 attack, all way, all day. Because most of the time you are playing evasively. So if there's nothing hitting you, you don't need the armor. Let's see. Ted777CCG1 says, at what point in the 4th game should have Maru realized he needed to ramp up to Ghosts? I really feel like there is an easy answer that's unfair, and the fair answer, I think, is more accurate. So the unfair answer is, well, like right around this sort of 15, 16-ish minute mark. I'd probably even go so far as to say right around the time when the Protoss player is sort of on his 3rd and can't really deal damage to him. 16 minutes is when I like to be aware of that as a possibility, as a potential time to do some switching and some changing. But 17 to 18 is when I think makes a lot of sense to get that puppy out. So right around now is generally when I think would make oodles of sense to do so. However, here's the more fair answer. More fair answer, I think, begins at the 10-minute mark, where we just see poor Maru is laid on his +1. Ooh. He lost a lot more SCVs than he needed to. His barracks coming down, okay. He's losing more SCVs. He's getting distracted. He's getting delayed. He's getting thrown off kilter. He's going to throw down this expansion. It gets delayed. He's getting thrown off kilter. Armories get started. They take a really long time to kick into gear. He's getting delayed. This expansion is not being turned into an orbital command. Oh god, he's trying to micro. He's losing units. Oh, humanity. There were a lot of things that were mentally throwing him off. And just getting him completely disrupted. So, really, it's technically not like, he got late ghosts. It's more like everything went so wrong leading up to that his ghosts were late. I would call the ghosts being late a consequence, less so the root problem. Oh, Megafire Guy asks a question that's actually not a question. Megafire Guy says, Dan, what is your opinion on Scarlet changing race in MLG? Do you think pro players should do more crowd-pleasing things or focus on the game more? That is not a question, and I would always warn you against asking not questions. trying to make those the two bases of comparison, crowd pleaser or focusing on the game. Scarlet talked at length about the fact that she just thought that was an extremely good build, and she had so much trouble against it on that map that she actually prepared it on that map. So, bluntly, Scarlet was playing to win, although in a very sort of unsophisticated Protoss fashion. I'm just going to go all in. That's the answer. And I think that that's a very, very interesting move for Scarlet to choose. And I think that something... I don't know if I would say do that or don't do that. I would say that it is a completely acceptable realm of possibility. And it is a crowd pleaser because of how unusual it is. But to say that it is only done because it's a crowd pleasing move, I think is totally... I think that's just... It's just a non-comment. So let's see here. Let's take one more. Oh, perfect, from his magic. Day9, do you like Starbow, and do you think it's a good thing for the StarCraft community? Undeniably good. Undeniably good. It's an exploration of the RTS space. It's a showcase of what can be done with the map editor. If there's a certain gameplay that you'd like, well, you can just make it. You can just churn that puppy out. And thusly, we have Starbow. I haven't gotten to play it that much, but it warms me, I would describe it as. It feels very Brood War-esque. And in fact, I will, probably this month or early next month, I want to devote 2 dailies to Starbow. Trying to take the same tool set that's been used for these dailies and apply it to that RTS. Hi. That's it. Denariu118. Final question. What's my favorite unit? Defiler. I'll see you tomorrow for the Hearthstone Decktacular.